Okay, I want to talk about locked versus unlocked weapons again in Battlefield 6. In the previous video, I talked about how DICE needs to pick a lane and not split the player base. And personally, I think that lane should be locked weapons, which means restricted weapons based on the class that you pick. That's the opinion a lot of old school Battlefield players are going to have, but I've done more thinking about it, and I don't think it's fair to just say that without coming up with a system that works for everyone and does offer a little bit more freedom and flexibility. So I'm going to talk about an idea for a locked weapon system that might be a best of both worlds scenario. Before I jump into it, don't forget to like and follow, that really helps me out a lot. A super quick recap on the debate surrounding locked weapons versus open weapons. Essentially, it means that rather than every class being able to choose whatever weapon they want, it means the traditional style of Battlefield where assault can use assault rifles, engineers can use SMGs, support can use LMGs, snipers can use snipers, and so on. From 2042 going into Battlefield 6, they've kind of removed that restriction. Any class can use whatever weapon they want, and a lot of people feel this is unbalanced because, for example, you could have an engineer sitting up on a hill with a sniper rifle who's a danger to infantry at long range, but then is also a danger to any vehicles that might go after them as well. And that creates a lot of imbalance because the class system has always promoted teamwork and synergy. Another problem with open weapons is it makes some of the choices around gadgets redundant. For example, DICE has moved the deployment beacon from recon to assault, which is a good change because it stops snipers just sitting up on a hill miles away constantly spawning on their beacon. But the problem now is that assault players can just use a sniper rifle anyway, and they could still do that if they wanted to. Any class being able to use any weapon kind of promotes the lone wolf playstyle, and at that point you're losing the identity of Battlefield and the teamwork synergy that the squad system offers. Now that said, I do accept that maybe myself and other people who've been playing Battlefield for a long time are maybe getting old and maybe need to move on with the times a little bit. So here's what I propose. First of all, let's just quickly break down the main weapon types in Battlefield. You've got assault rifles, LMGs, SMGs, sniper rifles, carbines, personal defense weapons, designated marksman rifles, and shotguns. Starting off with the assault class should be able to use assault rifles and carbines. Assault's main job is to combat other infantry from close to mid-range, and that's what those weapons offer. For engineers, the main weapon should be the carbine. Now traditionally in Battlefield 3 and 4, the main weapon of the engineer was the SMG and the PDW, but we'll get to them later. I think the main weapon of the engineer should be the carbine. It's decent for close to nearly mid-range combat, and they're going up against vehicles and people who are jumping out of vehicles, so it's a good balanced weapon. Moving on to support. In Battlefield 6, support works a little bit differently because it's now the ammunition and medic class that has the defibrillator and the medic bag. So I think support, as their primary weapons, should be able to use both LMGs and assault rifles. This means you've got the choice between doing classic Battlefield 4 style Overwatch support, dropping ammo, holding down a position with an LMG, or if you want, you can be the more medic focused support like Battlefield 4, which is with an assault rifle and the medic bag and the defibs. Or you could do a bit of a blend of both playstyles, but you've got the choice between LMG and assault rifle. Last but not least, recon. They should be restricted to sniper rifles. And no other class should be able to use sniper rifles because, to be honest, with the open weapons system, sniper rifles are the main cause of most problems because you can just sit back far away sniping infantry, but then you're also a problem against vehicles as well, or you're able to just heal yourself or supply yourself with ammo. So that's where a lot of those problems come from with the open weapons system. So the sniper rifles should be restricted to just recon. Now we're still missing SMGs, personal defense weapons, shotguns, and DMR. And this is where I feel like I might tread on the toes of older Battlefield players a little bit, but it also might satisfy newer players or players coming in from other games who want that open weapon system. I think all four of those weapon classes should be available for every class. And the reason I think they should do that is because that gives you the freedom to play the way you want to play to a certain degree while still maintaining class identity. So if you want to be an engineer that does play a little bit at a distance, you can, but you can't do it with a sniper rifle. You could do it with a DMR, which is still a really good long range option, but not as powerful as a sniper rifle. If you want to use a lot of the stealth benefits and reconnaissance benefits of the recon class, but don't feel like sniping and want to get in close, you could use an SMG or a personal defense weapon. So you could have more of a stealth based close up class using recon without using a sniper rifle. If you want to run right into the fight and drop heals and ammo for everyone while just blasting through people with a shotgun, you can do that as support. So those 4 additional weapon categories being open for all classes gives you that sort of open weapon feel, but also still keeps class identity for the other main weapon types, especially the sniper rifle. I think rather than having 2 separate playlists, open weapons and closed weapons, doing it this way and just having a semi-restricted system with some weapons that are open and some weapons that are restricted is better for the player base overall. But let me know what you think in the comments. Once again, don't forget to like, follow, share, all that kind of stuff. It really helps me out. Have a great day wherever you are. I'll see you in the next one.